Yo, what's going on people, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make dark melodies for people like Future and Lil Baby. Let's get into it. Before we get into it, I'm going to show you guys the sample, so this is it. Okay, so the first sound we're using is called Howls from Analog Lab 5, which is a pad, and that is just playing this. So for this we're working in F minor, and as you can see this is just built up of all the notes within that chord, and then I've put the second note from the chord up an octave and gone between these semitones here, which just adds a lot of dark tension. And then I've got an interval note here at G sharp minor, and then it goes down to the C sharp minor and then up to a D sharp minor, and that is the chord progression and the root notes. And for the mixing on this, I've added a half time and put it on 1 bar 2 times mode and put the smooth knob all the way to the left, which makes it wave in and out of the effect. And then I've added an EQ taking out the lows and the highs, and then with both of those things it sounds like this. Next up I added this noir piano just to make the sound a bit more full, since it sounded a little bit empty, and this piano is just following the same chord and root notes, except I've got 3 different notes for the root notes in 3 different octaves, very low down, just to add a lot of darkness to it. And for the mixing on this one, I'm taking out the low ends, which I wouldn't have done except I added a bass later on, and I've added an ozone imager just to make it space out a lot more. Next up is what I would say is the main sound towards the melody, which is Neytiri keys, which is from this Vulcan demo bank I've got here. So it doesn't actually come with Analog Lab 5, but you can download it, so I can send the link if you need. So for this sound I wanted to go a bit more crazy than the other ones, so I started quite low down and I've just gone up an octave to these notes here, but I've just put a C here just to levitate it up to this point, and then I'm just going between these semitones here, which always add dark tension for these kind of beats. And then I added a top line of these 2 notes, this one and this one, so I laid down these ones here and then I added these ones afterwards, and then all together it sounds like this. So my advice for making melodies like these is just go kind of crazy, because even if it doesn't sound good you can put effects on it and that might sound crazy. So yeah, I would just recommend you go and experiment, do loads of random stuff, add effects, and you might make something you never expected. So for the mixing on this one, I'm adding an EQ, yet again taking out the low ends, and then I put half time on and I left it exactly how it came. And then after both of these things it sounds like this. And next up we're using Plucked from Analog Lab 5, and for this sound I'm going up and down between 2 octaves, going from the first note of the chord to the second, and then up an octave to the first note of the chord, and then between these 2 semitones, and then with a little variation at the end, and altogether it sounds like this. And for the mixing on this one, I'm panning it to the left by 40%, and I've added a chorus which I've got down to about 55%, I'd say. That just adds a bit of wave to it. And then I've added this ARP-O-Matic preset from Portal and put this all the way down here so it's not too dramatic. And of course I put half time on it and left it exactly how it is, and then with all of those things together it sounds like this. And the last part towards the melody is the same piano that we used earlier, except I've got this on a different pattern, and it's just playing this little phrase in the middle here. And for the mixing on this one, we've got this one panned to the right by 40%, just so that this and the last sound have their own sound within the melody. And of course you could probably hear that it has a reverb where I've put the dry down, the wet up and the decay up. And then the last sound towards the loop is the bass, which is just following the root notes. And for the mixing on this one, I've got a fruity fast disc which adds a bit of distortion. I put the pre all the way up and then turned it down to 2%. So that's how I make my dark loops for people like Future and Lil Baby, and now I'm going to make a beat with it. So thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below what kind of stuff you want to see next, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.